Is Poshmark Canada shipping worth it? The answer might surprise you. Shipping on Poshmark Canada is $13.49, and it's something that I've heard a lot of buyers and sellers and viewers of this channel complain about. I've complained about it too. You're in good company. In a world where tons of brands and companies offer free shipping, $13.49 can feel like a lot. So I decided to run a little experiment in my closet to see what it would actually cost to ship items via Canada Post based on their size and their destination. Over the course of a couple weeks, I weighed and measured all of the orders I had come through Poshmark and put those details into the Canada Post website. And for the sake of this video, I wanted to compare apples to apples, which is why I chose Canada Post. For most of the packages, I used the expedited rate, except for one, but we'll talk about that in a moment. The packages ranged in items from shoes to bras, jeans, dresses, and even a couple of bundles. And they ranged in weight from 0.2 to 2.4 pounds, which is well under Poshmark's 5-pound limit for their regular shipping labels. If you're new to Poshmark and you're like, oh my gosh, can I only ship things that are up to 5 pounds? You can ship things up to 10 pounds, but you just have to get a different shipping label and pay a little bit more. Don't worry. Canada Post parcel shipping is based on where the package is traveling to. It can be local, in your same city, regional, in your region, or national, in a different region. Canada Post breaks down the country into 7 different regions, and Toronto is part of the central region, which includes most of Ontario and all of Quebec. I included 20 packages over the course of my experiment to 6 different provinces from Nova Scotia to British Columbia. Almost half of those packages were sent within my region, which is pretty regular for me on Poshmark Canada. So when you go to the Canada Post website and look at pricing, it's a little bit sneaky because the first cost you see isn't actually what you pay, because there's also a fuel surcharge and tax. For the sake of this experiment, I included the fuel surcharge in the amount that I looked at, but not the tax, because on Poshmark, buyers pay for tax anyway. And just so you have all of the details of this experiment, most of the items were mailed in poly mailers and a couple of them went in recycled cardboard boxes. That's my drum roll. You ready? 19 out of the 20 packages used expedited rates, ranging from $10.45 for a blazer that went to Milton, Ontario, to $20.18 for a dress that went to Whistler, British Columbia. The packages that were sent in my region ranged from $10.45 to $16.37. Yes, a dress in my region, because it was like 2.5 pounds, got up to $16.37, even though it was being sent in Ontario. Packages going to Alberta ranged from $16.06 to $18.81 for a bundle of items that went in a box weighing about 2.068 pounds. I like how I said about and then gave you the exact weight. I had a pair of jeans that went to Saskatchewan and was 1.2 pounds and cost $14.41, and a pair of shoes that went to Nova Scotia that would have been $16.76. Packages to BC were definitely the most expensive, with the exception of one. In one of my past videos, I mentioned that I did an Instagram live sale of some Free People Intimates items. And when I sold those items, I realized I could send them letter mail for $2.20 using just a regular stamp. Letter mail has to be pretty small and lightweight and fit through this weird little slot thing that Canada Post employees have, and they always check to make sure that it'll go through the slot. But these items were small and lightweight and flat and fit the bill. The downside to letter mail is that it takes a bit longer than expedited and it can't be tracked, but it costs a lot less than any of the other Canada Post options. I've bought a couple things on Etsy recently and had sellers there use letter mail, and they got to me just fine. The rest of my packages to BC ranged from $17.33 for a silk top to $20.18 for a dress. So maybe this is the drum roll moment. So here's the part that might surprise you. When I averaged out the cost of what these packages would have been, it was $15.37, which is nearly $2 more than the flat rate on Poshmark Canada. And I know that doesn't change the fact that $13.49 still feels like a lot, especially for a lower priced item, but it's sort of the reality of shipping across Canada using Canada Post. Maybe if you had a super high volume with another carrier, you might be able to get a better rate. I don't know, I'm not there yet. If you're in Canada and you found a carrier that has a really cheap shipping rate across Canada, be sure to leave a comment down below. I'm sure lots of us would love to hear. And Poshmark shipping is just so gosh darn fast and easy. Oh my gosh, this experiment really reminded me of that. As I was getting ready for this video, this experiment slowed me down so much because I had to measure the item, I had to weigh it, I had to go to Canada Post, input all the information, click through multiple screens. Obviously I didn't buy the label and actually ship it that way because I already had it via Poshmark, but it would have taken me a lot longer. It definitely slowed me down versus Poshmark. You sell an item, they email you the shipping label 99% of the time. The other 1%, you just go into Poshmark and download the label and print it. So easy and fast. To be totally honest, this experiment surprised me. I expected to go into this and find out that the average cost was gonna be less than $13.49 and just feel sad. But that wasn't the case. It actually made me feel a lot better about the $13.49. Maybe I'm the only one. You might feel differently after watching this video. As I've said before, if the $13.49 flat rate bothers you, it may be worth looking at another platform that's more shipping agnostic, and you can pick how you want to ship your items and the cost that you or the buyer pays. I think this would especially make sense if you found that you were selling a lot of items in your region or in your city and it was much more local to you. Or maybe you're selling at a super high volume and you found a carrier that has a much lower rate. I would love to hear your thoughts about this experiment. Are you surprised? I certainly was. Has the $13.49 shipping cost ever deterred you from buying something? Let me know. If you're not from Canada and you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. You can make comforting sounds to make us feel better about how much we pay for shipping. Maybe $13.49 isn't so bad after all. No, it's still not great. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like, and if you're not already subscribed, now would be an awesome time to do so. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye, friends!